The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our ServiceNow series, where we interview the best and brightest of the industry to share their story, advice, and views on the exciting world of ServiceNow and digital transformation.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Paul Webb. Paul is the Global ServiceNow Alliance Leader at Ernst & Young. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you. I know this one has been a while in the making, so we're excited to finally get you here. So let's start with yourself, Paul. Could you give us a bit of an overview of your journey in technology, from where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way, and take us up to today as the Global ServiceNow Alliance Leader at AY?
So started out life with a computer science degree out of the UK, and first job was Marconi Space and Defense, programming the guidance systems of rockets and missiles. So it's like the only job I've ever had my kids understand. It's like their dad was, quote, a rocket scientist, which I find humorous, but still fun. Since then, moved out to the States to work for E&Y quite some time ago, but my role there was product lifecycle management and specializing in consulting on that. Then I founded a software company called Navare that did product lifecycle management, was quite successful, survived the dot-com bust. After that, moved to Gartner to run West Coast consulting for Gartner Group. Finally ended up at EY in the tech transformation practice, where I was asked to build this ServiceNow Alliance from zero to where it is today.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's jump straight into that. So you now find yourself as the ServiceNow Global Alliance Leader, and when you assumed the role, you had to build it from scratch. So talk to us about that journey, the early days of building this out, from when you first started to where it is in its current form today.
Sure. So yeah, from day one, I think in our first year, we were like 3 million in revenue just as a side project. We weren't really a formal alliance, but we were doing a bunch of IT service management work and IT work, and ServiceNow came up as a new vendor in the space. Really quickly, that started to take off a bit like a rocket ship itself, until a couple of years in, I was told to quit my day job and just run this full time. And at that point, we decided that we didn't want to be another commodity play in the ITSM space, that we needed to look at where ServiceNow was going in the future and try and capture new market on the platform. So we weren't just competing for the lowest possible price. So if you just play that forward, we were really successful in the HR space. We were really successful in taking ServiceNow into other parts of the business, the cruise line, risk management, and manufacturing, until when you look at us today, where less than 50% of our revenues is really coming from IT. It's still 50% of our revenue, but we're really starting to see tremendous growth around the other sectors of the business. And that's where we've been having a lot of fun with the employee transformation, back office transformation, data privacy, security, and so on. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, amazing. The fact that, almost half the revenue is coming from outside the tech really speaks to the future focus on innovation opportunities where EY can support your customer base, not just on pure tech. Staying on that topic, I know your role, you're working with all aspects of ServiceNow Group. You're working with the consultants on the front line. You're working with the engineers across various industries. What are some of the most common projects that you find you and your team working on right now? What are some of the more interesting and exciting developments that you're seeing? And where are you guys really investing in terms of headcount and focus over the next 12 to 24 months?
So it's interesting to see that there's a lot, if we just stick with the IT space, there's a lot going on in the context of replatforming and modernization. There's some of the early adopters of ServiceNow, or some companies that have still been clinging to some legacy technologies, that are ServiceNow's competitors, are making the leap to take advantage of the latest capabilities on the platform. So we're seeing a lot of replatforming, a lot of finally making the leap and making the transition, especially in financial services, over to ServiceNow. And then looking at how they can go beyond that, right? How can they go beyond IT to employee experience being another really hot topic. Working with clients around those spaces, ServiceNow is becoming this embedded platform for business transformation and modernization. And I think COVID has played a pretty significant role in that.
Yeah, certainly. We see a huge shift in focus towards digital transformation, efficiency, and obviously ServiceNow has quickly established itself as a leader in this field, hence the huge uptake in the need for individuals to implement projects. I'd love to understand from a headcount and strategy and hiring perspective at EY, how you guys have been able to sustain the level of growth as ServiceNow is still relatively new in terms of platforms, so you need the practitioners. What has EY been able to do to combat the surge of demand, and how are you guys able to continue to grow the practice with the increase in demand for services year over year?
I think we've done it through three different pillars. The first and foremost is if you look at our core ServiceNow practices around the world and in each region or each area, Asia Pac and Americas, Europe have their own practices that, execute on delivery. We've made it an absolutely fundamental requirement to hire only the best and to hire people that fit our culture. We have a very collegial and supportive culture within the teams. And we made a point from day one of making that absolutely paramount to how we operate. And so we've been able to really control attrition during the Great Resignation as a result of that. The second pillar is our business consulting side. So for every person we have in the ServiceNow practice, they're connected deeply with our colleagues in our people advisory team, our risk teams, our cyber teams, and so on. So that when we go in and do a project for a client, we're not just looking at fingers on keyboards. We're really looking at how do we enhance the way work gets done and think with subject matter people from those practices around how to really change, transform the day-to-day experience of people in the business. So that's the second pillar, and that's fundamental. It's the heart of what Ernst & Young is, or EY is, as a business consulting company. And then the third pillar has been a global delivery team. So we have, traditionally it's called offshore development, but we have teams in India, in Mexico, in Manila, and in Poland that have grown up with us. It's not like suddenly we throw work over the fence to an offshore team, but because we're able to take advantage of this global delivery team, it enables us to scale at a level that is non-traditional. So, some work is done from our in-country resources. Some's done by our professionals in that space, and HR and GRC, et cetera. And then the bulk of the development is augmented by the global delivery teams.
Thanks for that, Paul. And I think what's really striking and so important to highlight is the focus on hiring the right types of people, not just talent and ability wise, but culturally. Part of the Great Resignation was amazing people leaving environments that were not the right place for them in a work-life balance or culture fit. And from speaking to the many people who we've interacted with in the ServiceNow world who are at EY, they're very happy, and they're excited about the future project roadmap, which is something we can all learn from. Staying on the topic of people, as ServiceNow continues to grow at lightning pace, there's an ever increasing demand for the services, the people, and always a shorter supply of talent. Given your role as the global alliance leader, you're working on the front lines with customers, you're working with the technology team, but you're also trying to advocate for why ServiceNow is really something that's going to be around for a long time. Speaking to an audience of technology and data professionals, and particularly the more junior people who are just trying to figure out their way in this world of digital transformation, what message or advice would you share with people who are academics, consider making a switch into industry, or people just starting out, as to why ServiceNow is something they should consider as a career path for the next few years?
If you listen to some of the senior executives speak over at ServiceNow, in particular Bill McDermott, I was at an event where he was speaking and he was presenting to investors as well. They get it. ServiceNow really understands that having a platform that becomes the fabric or nervous system of a business is how they're going to be successful in the future. As they continue this really rapid growth that just hasn't slowed down in the 6 years I've been working in this space, they really get, and Bill really gets, that the future is in continuing to innovate, continuing to improve the way people work and how people work. And so if you're getting into technology and you want to be at the forefront of making people's lives easier, it's an interesting place to hang out. They're looking at artificial intelligence, machine learning, NFTs, what to do with the metaverse. And I have to admit, I have no idea what to do with the metaverse, but the next generation of folks do. And this is not going to slow down. The next 3 to 4 years, whether we're in an economically complex world where we may go into recession, we may not go into recession, but people are going to be tightening their belts, this platform is going to help make work more efficient. So, we can reduce operating costs. If we're looking at innovation and making work easier and more pleasant to do in order to stop people quitting, ServiceNow is going to help that too. So I think if you just want to be at the forefront of where cool things are happening, it's not a bad place to spend some time.
I completely agree. Regardless of industry, you can have a real impact on the future of a business and an industry through the medium of ServiceNow. So, Paul, final question from me then. You've been in this space 6 years, but you're already a seasoned technology professional. You've been around and you've seen a lot of products come to market, a lot of evolution in the world of digital transformation. Knowing what you know now about ServiceNow, when you look at the next 3-4 years, what are you most excited about? What are some of the changes coming down the line that you expect to see? And particularly focus on EY's leading role in ServiceNow implementation and support. What are you excited about?
ServiceNow really is going to be part of the fabric, just as SAP and Salesforce have been in the past. I'm excited about where ServiceNow can go. As we look at things like operational technology, how do you have connected devices? How do you have self-healing equipment, whether that's a mobile phone, a laptop, or an HVAC in the building? How do you take a digital replica or digital twin of a business's assets and then overlay technology like ServiceNow onto that to be able to do sophisticated analytics and sophisticated operations management? All of this stuff is just cool. And then now you've got AI and machine learning coming on top of everything else as well. ServiceNow understands how to make that work. I think we as a technology and business consulting company know how to take that platform and really make it sing for our clients. You look forward 3 years, life should be a little bit easier at work as a result of the way this platform is getting embedded. So it's not going to be the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow by any means, but it's definitely pointing in the right direction.
Paul, thank you so much for coming on today. Really great to hear from someone at your level from EY, given the position you guys have taken on ServiceNow. Clearly, it's something that you guys see a long-term benefit from. We do on our side, and it's great to hear from your perspective, your role, the day-to-day is the focus on it and the constant strive towards innovation. The next few years are going to be very exciting for us all in ServiceNow, and we're very grateful to have you on the show, and we look forward to having you back in a year or two, and you can tell us about all the wonderful things that have happened since then. Best of luck to you, the team, everyone at EY on this ServiceNow journey.
Well, Paul, thanks so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.